All right, so check this out. Marjorie Taylor Greene and other MAGA fans are turning on Donald Trump following his strikes of Iran. All of these MAGA folks thought that Donald Trump was quote unquote America first, meaning he wouldn't get into wars, he wouldn't get involved in any conflict. He was their peace president, according to them. And now he has struck Iran, breaking their trust. And many of these people feel betrayed. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, as we all know, is one of Donald Trump's biggest allies, she's on the front lines of the MAGA battle. She is even condemning Donald Trump in her new statement that she just released, saying, "My thoughts on bombing Iran." It's a long one. It's practically an essay, so we'll dive into it. But first and foremost, let me show you some reactions from MAGA fans. Just this one video of this guy losing it, crashing out over Donald Trump bombing
Donald
Iran. Have a
Trump has
look.
officially betrayed MAGA. Instead of upholding his promise of staying out of these forever wars, he just announced that the United States has bombed Iran. Donald Trump announced on Truth, "I will give an address to the nation 10 p.m. at the White House regarding our very successful military operation in Iran. This is a historic moment." No, it's not. "For the United States, Israel, and for the world, Iran must agree to the end of this war. Israel started it. Thank you very much." What a freaking disappointment, man. What a disappointment this is, where you just believed that a freaking politician was actually trustworthy, that whenever he said he would stay out of these wars and bring world peace, that America would be America first, not Israel first. I don't care what anyone says. This is Israel's battle, and we should have never done what we just. Donald Trump has a.
Wow. This guy is as MAGA as they come. He's wearing a MAGA hat in the video, right? This is no liberal guy. And even he is saying it's a horrible decision. You know, he feels betrayed by Trump. He thought Trump was America first and would be honest. And of course, he wasn't. And as I mentioned, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are saying things similar to that. So she on Twitter today wrote this long post, and we won't read all of it because I think the more you read of Marjorie Taylor Greene, the worse you are. But we'll talk about some of it. She said, "My thoughts on bombing Iran. I don't know anyone in America who's been the victim of a crime or killed by Iran, but I know many people who've been victims of crime committed by undocumented immigrants who are criminals or murdered by cartel and Chinese fentanyl." She always finds a way to completely bring another topic into the fold, as she just did right here. Almost everyone in our country can relate to this fact. However, America has not dropped bunker busters on the cartel's sophisticated drug tunnels, launched tomahawks on massive cartel poisonous drug operations, or gone to war against the cartel international terrorist network. Neocon warmongers beat their drums of war and act like Billy badasses going to war in countries most Americans have never seen and can't find on a map, but never find the courage to go to war against the actual terrorists who do kill Americans, invade our land, and make billions doing it. I'm 51 years old. I'm Gen X. I've watched our country go to war on foreign lands for foreign causes on behalf of foreign interests for as long as I can remember. I was in 10th grade with Desert Storm. America has $37 trillion in debt, and all of these foreign wars have cost America trillions and trillions of dollars that have never benefited any American. American troops have been killed and forever torn apart physically and mentally from regime change and foreign wars and for military industrial based profits. I'm sick of it. Interesting. So you're already kind of getting a sense of what Marjorie Taylor Greene's view is. She's saying, this is unnecessary. What was the exact comment she used? Oh, the neocon warmongers beat their drums of war and act like Billy badasses. Is that her calling Donald Trump a neocon warmonger because he went to war with Iran? It kind of seems like she is taking direct shots at Donald Trump here. And obviously she's arguing this from a MAGA perspective, which inherently means that it doesn't make much sense. But her saying, why aren't we focusing on these issues? Donald Trump is going to war with Iran in a country that, many Americans, according to her, can't find on a map. But we're not focusing on these issues that MAGA talked about, that Donald Trump talked about on the campaign and things like that. I can easily say I support nuclear-armed Israel's right to defend themselves, and also say at the same time, I don't want to fight or fund Israel's wars, nor any other country for that matter. I'm sick of funding foreign aid and foreign countries and foreign everything. I want to fund America's interests and issues, which again, it's just so frustrating for me to read from Marjorie Taylor Greene, because when it comes to policies like Biden's infrastructure law, for example, which funded industry here in America, making our roads, bridges, waterways better, she voted against it. I want great trade deals. I want low inflation. I want American construction, housing, and manufacturing. I want Americans to be rich. I want my children's generation to have a great future. It pisses me off beyond comprehension that my children's generation can't afford to buy a house, can't afford insurance, and have little hope for their future. Americans are exhausted by all of this, and rightfully so. I can also support Donald Trump and his great administration on many things that they are doing, while disagreeing on bombing Iran and getting involved in a hot war that Israel started. That's not disloyalty. Critical thinking and having my own opinions is the most American thing ever, because contrary to what brainwashed Democrat boomers say, Trump is not a king, MAGA is not a cult, and Donald Trump has surrounded himself with people who once disagreed with him and even ran against him for president. And then, my God, I mean, she just keeps ranting on. And then she says, enough is enough. So she's basically saying, yeah, this war, enough is enough. But look at this. I disagree on the bombing of Iran. Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking a public stance against Donald Trump and what he's doing in Iran. And so many other MAGA people are saying similar things. Even MAGA representatives in Congress, MAGA influencers, these MAGA creators who always stand by Donald Trump, they, like this guy who we just watched, will defend Donald Trump no matter what, for the most part. But when it comes to this, they feel betrayed. People like Marjorie Taylor Greene are saying they feel betrayed because of what Donald Trump has done. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is not the only MAGA rep who has taken a stand against Trump and what he's done in Iran. For example, Thomas Massie has been critical of Trump and people like Speaker Mike Johnson for defending what Trump did. Massie said, "Why didn't you call us back from vacation to vote on military action? If there was a serious threat to our country, I introduced a war power resolution on Tuesday while Congress was on vacation. We would have had plenty of time to debate and vote on this." He also responded to Donald Trump directly, his strikes directly, saying this is not constitutional. And as is the usual in MAGA, once a representative steps out of line and does something that's not perfectly aligned with Donald Trump, they get admonished for it, even threats of primary. James Blair, who is one of Donald Trump's senior advisors, you can see in his bio, assistant to the president and White House deputy chief of staff. He said, "I hope Thomas Massie is enjoying his last term in Congress," threatening him. And then Donald Trump had to get involved in as well. He actually put out an essay going after Thomas Massie, saying, "Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA, even though he likes to say he is. Actually, MAGA doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. He is a negative force who almost always votes no, no matter how good something may be. He's a simple-minded grandstander who thinks it's good politics for Iran to have the highest level nuclear weapon while at the same time yelling death to America." And then he announces down here at some point that he will be going to Kentucky to campaign against Thomas Massie, to campaign for another Republican representative, saying the good news is that we will have a wonderful patriot running against him in the Republican primary, and I'll be out in Kentucky campaigning really hard. So Donald Trump is on like this revenge tour for anybody that's stepping out against him. And I wonder if he's going to say something about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because her statement, Marjorie Taylor Greene will never fully criticize Donald Trump. That's probably the most we're going to get from her, where she says, I disagree with Trump on this. That's probably it. But Thomas Massie certainly felt the wrath of Trump, and I'm sure he's going to feel the wrath of MAGA because he stepped out of line. But you're just seeing so many people in the MAGA movement, whether they're elected to government, they're these MAGA cringy influencers and whatnot, or just average everyday folks who voted for Trump, like this guy that we just saw on TikTok. All of these people are furious at Trump. They're very frustrated with what he has done in Iran, and I think that's going to fracture Donald Trump's political base a lot. So anyway, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story. Let me know what you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene's response. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.